Everybody, just jumping in, had a little technical difficulties getting GoToWebinar launched. We are here for the weekly Inside Real Estate Tactics webinar. If somebody could just let me know you can hear me. Say, yep, I can hear you. That would help a lot. And what I figured we'd do today is leading with listings, tactics for using conversion and KV Core to leverage your listings for more buyer and seller leads. Yes, these are recorded. I have a note here under the doc, and there's a link. It's to the fan page of Conversion where you can see all the recordings of these sessions. So thank you for letting me know you can hear me, everybody who's done that. I'm going to share the link to the doc with you right now. And let's do this. All right, you should all be getting the doc sent over to you right now. And if you're watching the replay on Facebook somewhere or elsewhere, you should see a link to the doc somewhere near where you're watching right now if you're watching later. So we are live right now to talk about leading with listings. And I'll just do as I do normally. We'll talk a little bit about the theory behind this. The whole idea here is that you can use Conversion and Core, your website itself, to direct traffic at individual listings in order to generate a lot of buyer traffic, and also do it in a way that might get people more likely to list with you moving forward. So theory, inquiries about specific properties are solid leads. I think we all know this. Zillow has built a massive business around the fact that we as agents are willing to buy leads from them, and most of the higher quality leads they generate, to my knowledge, happen to be around, and Realtor.com does this too, around your listings, right? Your listing is sitting there, somebody's browsing on their site, they have a question, and they hopefully route the lead to you, even though I think in some cases they might even be selling to other agents. Well, here's your opportunity to do this yourself, kind of cut out the middleman there, and you might find that this is a way more affordable approach when you kind of take the power back and you start to drive traffic at your own listings here, and you can generate some really nice inquiries from buyers, specific questions about your properties, the same way you're paying for them from those vendors. If you're not, the next point I have here is if you're not running paid traffic at your listings, you're doing a bad job for your clients. And I have some other alternatives. It frustrates me. Maybe I shouldn't get frustrated, but it frustrates me when I hear from an agent and they say, well, I don't know how to run a Facebook ad for a listing. And to me, maybe because of what I've been doing for the last 6-7 years since Facebook ads platform launches, I talk about this every week. And it's like, at this point, if you don't know how to run a basic Facebook ad for your listing, you're kind of missing a key tool in the arsenal when it comes to marketing real estate. In fact, that's probably the biggest thing you could do to get exposure fast and cheapest, would be to run a Facebook ad, probably quicker than even Craigslist, or sending just listed cards. So if you're not doing it, you're kind of doing a bad job. And I'll say this in a nice way, you got to get on this, right? Otherwise you're not doing a good job. The next point, this will play well in listing presentations. The stuff we'll talk about today, just basic idea that you're driving traffic from numerous sources, not just Facebook, to your listings, is a cool thing for you to be able to talk about, because reality is a lot of other listing agents are not doing these things. And if you can talk about this stuff intelligently and have some pages about it in your listing presentation, it'll help give you that competitive edge. And the final note here, broker owners, team leaders, enterprise people, if you want to expand market share and boost gross commission income across the board, by putting more virtual signs in the ground, this is it. So old school, old school being maybe when I got licensed 20 years ago, would be that in order to seem like the biggest game in town, you needed signs in the ground. This is still true. Like, if somebody has a lot of for sale signs in the ground on the side of houses, all the neighbors, psychologically, they go, oh, this is the people I need to list with, right? Their signs are everywhere. They must know what they're doing. Well, there's an opportunity now, especially for bigger brokerages and teams, to put more virtual signs in the ground when you have a listing. And I'd say that this is probably the first place to go if you're looking for a way to expand market share and boost your brand, would be to have more ads out there about your individual listings, so that wherever somebody goes online, it seems like your company is the one doing this kind of awesome advertising. So let me see here. I think there might have been a question. What am I doing wrong? Can't hear anything. I think we're okay. Nobody else is saying that they can't hear, but yeah, sometimes that happens. Just play with your mic. Okay, so let's go ahead here and talk about what kind of results are possible. I posted a tutorial about Facebook, running a Facebook ad, I think last Friday or Thursday, and then there's been a few follow-ups on that tutorial from Kyle No in particular. So I want to show you this here, I'll bring up the screenshot. So what I had posted was this screenshot, and what I did with a friend was we spent $50 on we set a $50 budget on 7 different listings, and it ended up spending 326 for whatever reason. And the results were, these are actual clicks. See, the all clicks right here, that's 3745, but the actual link clicks over to the website was 2,254 for an average of 15 cents a click. And this CTR, click-through ratio, on this report of 7.32, that is blazing high, but this is typical for real estate listings when you run individual listings on Facebook. So this is a lot of very affordable 15 cents a click traffic. And the other important thing here, I wish I had my drawing tool, but you see this impressions number, that's 30,775 impressions. Now, those are not leads. Those aren't people who come to your website who you pixeled for retargeting. But I would argue that the more time, these are like mini touches, for you KW people, 33 touch. Think in terms of 33,000 micro touches, right? Or 3 million micro touches every year. These impressions are associating your company's name or your individual agent name with real estate. So sure, 30,000 impressions, those weren't leads. These 2,254 clicks, definitely a portion of them were leads. And I'm going to go back here to the post. We have a comment from Kyle, who actually went and executed on the tutorial. He said, hey, Ryan, I now have 20 leads for $14.44. It's crazy. Do you have a suggestion? He wanted to know if he could do the same thing for individual property searches. I said, yeah, it pretty much is the same flow for niche focused property searches, which we've talked about in past webinars. So, $14 for 20 leads, that's way better than what you're getting from Zillow these days, right? And sure, a lot of these are cold leads. Like, they're not people who want to buy a house tomorrow. They might have opted in on your site because they were just curious about that property and they want to get a look at it without the pesky pop-up box that Conversion put in front of them. But a certain percentage are going to be real. And, over time, if this were $1,400 spent, you better bet that a percentage of those would have been really, really good leads. So I'll take under $1 a lead all day long. All right. I got Shane over at Bond Street texting me from my Snapchat. Just a preview for next week. I think I'm going to do a webinar on Snapchat advertising. I talked to somebody on their advertising team today, and there are a lot, their things have been upgraded. So watch out for that webinar next week, a little pre-plug. Okay, so possibilities here, just on 7 listings, that was thousands of clicks. On 1 listing here, Kyle got a bunch of leads for under $1 a piece. Now, if you're at a big brokerage, some of you KV Core users are at an enterprise, just imagine what could happen if your whole company started doing this en masse and you systematized this. The results could be amazing. Okay, so what I wanted to do today was run a few of these ads, just kind of like show you what to do. So what I was going to do was run a Facebook ad, an engagement ad, show you some of the targeting for how to get this done, and then we'll go ahead and run a YouTube video ad, and then I was going to run a Google display ad. And what this will touch on is some of the stuff we've done in recent webinars. We've talked about Facebook a lot. We did a whole session on Google, but it'll kind of wrap up and show you how to use those platforms in the context of advertising your listings. And then at the end, we'll talk about how to retarget your listing clicks with a want to list with me message. So if people are clicking on and looking at a property on your site, theory is it would be cool to say, hey, thanks for looking at my listing. Why don't you go see what your property's worth now, or why don't you come and work with us to get the property listed. So let's jump on in now. First step we're going to want to take is use some of the native functionality of Conversion and KV Core to build a squeeze link for the individual property. So I'm going to click through to this link that I provided in the doc, just show you where to find that in Conversion. Go away, Shane. All right, and then let's see. So that link takes you to the lead generation section in Conversion. You can go to build squeeze page, and then it'll be just a little bit down right here. Okay, so what you're going to need is your listing ID, and then I'll show you just where that looks in KV Core right here, and I'm going to build it out in Conversion as we go. But if you click the KV Core link, there's just a little thing to know is that you get to the squeeze page, and then it's this little section up top. You have these 3 navigation tabs. You're going to want to go over to the single property option, and the tool works very much the same in both platforms. So The listing that I'm going to focus on, I have permission from a colleague of mine down in Florida. I'm going to focus on this listing right here. I have the MLS number. We'll use this for our examples. And we're going to go into conversion, and I'll pop the listing ID in. My source is going to be Facebook in this example. And then my hashtag is going to be, it can't be a number, right? It can't start with a number. So I like to do single property. You do whatever you want, like SP, and then I'll put the address 410 Palmdale. You could use whatever you want and place it at SP, just so we know what the lead came through, you know, when somebody clicks the link and comes through. Now, you have the option to delay registration and let people view one property without registering. I noticed that Kyle, when he reported his notes, his results here in the chat, I clicked through his link and it looks like he was using, I'll do that here, looks like he was not delaying the registration and he got those results. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'll follow his lead. And for this example, we'll just not delay registration, but just know you have the option to let people actually see the property without them being registered. So let's build the MLS ID link. So here was Kyle's example. When the person gets to the page, Conversion or Core will tell them to register right here. So that's what I'm doing here. I now have my link to use. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into Facebook and I'm going to do a simple engagement ad in Facebook. So let's go to Facebook ads, Facebook links. I'll just use this account. I'm going to assume you guys all have Facebook ads accounts at this point. If not, it's facebook.com/ads. They'll walk you through getting it all set up. You're going to need a Facebook business page. You can Google that. They're very easy to set up, of course. Just take a few minutes. Facebook makes that very easy. So I'm going to click create. And while I wait for the computer, it must be GoToWebinar being a little slow with Facebook, but I'm just curious, you know, if you are regularly running listing ads for your listings, I'd be curious to know in the webinar chat here, just say, yeah, I do it, or no, not yet. Be interested just to take a quick sample of that here. And you know what I bet most of you guys who are doing listings for your ads for your own listings probably aren't spending as much on Zillow anymore, just a suspicion. All right, because the results are that different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the engagement option here for the ad type. And I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. I'm actually going to create a post on my fan page as I create this ad. So I'm going to do a single property. This is my campaign name, and it's 410 Palmdale. Okay, and I will click continue. Thanks, Joy. And I will mention, you know, just get permission from your broker or from other agents. If you don't have your own listing inventory, this is a great way to generate leads. I have a feeling that if you just ask some other cool agents with listing inventory, if they wouldn't mind you doing this to generate yourself buyer leads, you're going to have a lot of takers. So don't let the fact that you don't have listings, you know, deter you from using this strategy. Okay, so I go to my next screen here, and what I like to do in general is run the ad. I'm going to set up my targeting in the zip code, just very close by where people are. So let me go back here to the listing. Now you can use your own discretion. You might decide that you want to run it to people who live further away from the property. But a good rule of thumb, especially if you're doing this sort of on autopilot or you have an admin doing it for every listing you get, is to just take the zip code and set that as your targeting. I'll answer that in a minute, Joy. Joy's asking a good question about whether Facebook ads are better than Google ads. They're just different. Facebook ads will have a little less intent than Google because somebody on Google is actively typing in something and they want a result now. But Facebook is much better for building a longer term funnel, in my opinion, based on cost per lead if you're trying to build a database. So it's a matter of, you know, 6 of one, half dozen, or the other, maybe, depending on your follow-up strategy. So I put in my zip code here. My age, now we're just going to use a little common sense. We can all do this. This is a $500,000 property. I might target a little different if I was doing something that was like a starter home. But in this case, it's a $500,000 property. I'm going to guess, I know the market well enough that probably most people buying a house in that price range are 35 to 55 years old, maybe older than 57. A lot of times I will target women because women tend to browse and engage a little better with listing ads, but that's not always fair. So I'm going to just target everybody right now. And then demographics, we won't have the option to target homeowners anymore like we used to. Facebook's getting rid of that stuff. I still think it's in there. One of the reasons I'm looking at Snapchat is that they do actually have that targeting still. I was talking to them today. So they actually have some of the stuff that Facebook's losing still. But for demographic targeting, I want to try to hit people who are likely to buy a house. I've picked an age range, but I can also do things like parents. So I'll do parents, and maybe I'll do parents with younger children who might be looking, maybe they need a bigger house. So parents with preschoolers, 3 to 5 years old. How many do I get in that zip code? There's not a lot, but I think you see where I'm going. So just decide on your targeting there. I could also pick college grads, people with certain degrees if I want, or I could just leave the detailed targeting totally empty and just let Facebook find people who will engage with that property in that zip code, which should be fine as well, especially if it's a zip code with similar housing inventory where most people are probably going to be in that price range anyway. So I'll leave that now. I'll uncheck the expand interest. I've been leaving automatic placements on. If you want to play around with your edit placements and maybe only show your ad to people who are connected to Wi-Fi on mobile devices, you can do that. You can get rid of the audience network and things like that. I haven't seen much difference in the engagement. And right now, this is just about getting a lot of exposure for the listing. So I don't think you need to overthink the targeting. Dwight is asking, am I building an ad for engagement or for clicks? Well, the answer is both, but I did choose the engagement objective because I'm going to actually, the scenario that I have in mind, we have a team leader and they need to do this for maybe 10 or 20, 30 new listings every week. Right? This is what I'm hoping is that some companies start doing this. So I wanted to show a flow that makes this very quick to do for any admin and kills two birds. So I'm building an engagement ad. And in a second here, when I create the ad, I'm going to go to the next step. I'm actually going to create the page post on the fly as I create the ad. So it's going to create a post on my fan page and run the ad at the same time. And that ad is proving to get lots of clicks. You saw 15 cents, thousands of clicks at 15 cents a piece. So this flow is working really well in a number of examples. So let's just wait for Facebook to make up its mind and load here. Okay, I gotta choose my fan page. Here. Sorry guys, this is being painfully slow. Let's see. This might work. Yes. Okay, it should work a lot faster for you. I manage a lot of fan pages over the years, so it's just Facebook glitches out there sometimes. And then the next thing I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to wait for Facebook to make up its mind. And then you usually have the option to select a post. Now, if the post was already on your page, you could select it from here. But here's where I'm going to click the plus sign, and I'm going to create the post on my page on the fly. So by clicking the plus sign, it's going to load here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the squeeze link that I created and paste it right in here. And what it'll do is it'll fetch the preview for us. It usually does a good job of doing this. Just like that. And then what I've been doing is I've been saying click for price and more pictures as like the kind of the top headline. And then I'll just go back into the listing itself, and I've been grabbing just the remarks, or certain bit of the remarks, however you want, popping that in like so, And this is the post that'll get created. Now, if I go down here at the very bottom, it says save unpublished post. I'm actually going to publish it right here. So I'll click publish, and that will put the post on my fan page and get it going for the ad. Now, don't be thrown off. For whatever reason, Facebook just pops a blank box there and it looks like it didn't work. It's just kind of a glitch with Facebook. I can now X that out, and you can see in the background how it is showing me the preview of the ad right over here. Okay, that took me, what did that take me? By the time I got targeting done, created the targeting and I created the squeeze link, probably can be done in 2 to 5 minutes for every listing, right? The hardest part is thinking about the targeting. We choose the Instagram account. Here we go. And that's it. I can confirm and run this ad right away, and I am done. This ad will definitely generate me a good amount of traffic. I think, guys, that I did skip over the budgeting. I have been, doing a set budget. I'm going to go back to the last page where it had the budgeting, and I've been setting a start and end date generally because you figure you're going to want to allocate a certain number per listing. And this is a good point to bring up now. So I'm going to set it a lifetime budget with a start and an end date. And one rule of thumb to use would be to say, hey, I'm going to spend a certain ratio of the asking price on every listing. I think the formula I came up with was like 0.0001 times 500,000. This is a $500,000 listing. I think that was the ratio. And that would tell me to spend $50 automatically on every listing. So if you're giving this to an admin, you can give them those instructions. Say, hey, run an ad for 7 days and set it to run 0.0001 times the listing amount, so 50. This way you're spending a proportion on each one. Then you can always go back later and restart the ad. Say the ad generated you a lot of buyer leads, or you just want to give it more money, you're having a hard time selling it, there's a price reduction, you want to re-energize. You can always go back later and run the ad longer, but you can start each ad, kind of seed it with that specific ratio. Just an idea I have. You can go with that or not, amount that you want to do for each listing. So lifetime budget, $50. My start date is today. I got to choose my end date for a week from today. Will be the 17th. And now we are good to go. I kind of skipped that part in the beginning. Okay, so any questions on that? Pretty straightforward, right? It puts the ad on the Facebook page. Anybody, I can get organic traffic off my Facebook page from posting that, and then we have an ad live for our listing pretty simply, and we know that when people get to the site, a certain percentage will become leads. Next thing I wanted to show was an example where we can actually make, if you don't want to do it that way, we can actually make slideshow ads, and there was a reason I wanted to do that. I started to think about doing video ads for listings, which I have done from time to time. Usually I do an in-person tour when I do a YouTube video ad, right? And you interrupt somebody, they're watching, say, a video, about whatever they're watching a video about on YouTube. And then in the beginning, you've seen it says, skip this ad, it'll show some kind of commercial. Well, that's a perfect opportunity to pop a tour of a property in. Now, I was like, realistically, we can't go out there and do a tour for every listing and maintain production quality and all this other stuff. So the hack I came up with, there are software generators out there like Animoto, a number of ways, but Facebook actually has a built-in way for you to build video slideshows, and you can download them. So I thought, well, let me try that out. So what I did was I went to my Facebook page, facebook.com/PropOrtunityKnox. And I tried it out, and I was able to create a slideshow and download it for use on other platforms, which I thought was really cool and a nice little hack. John, yeah, if you click the link under the title of this webinar in the doc, there's a link to all these replays. They're in chronological order on the page that you'll be taken to there on the conversion fan page for the recordings. So go back here. And here it is. It's right in the middle of the screen. And you'll see it just simply makes a slide of the property. So if you wanted to, with the example I showed you run an ad, you could do this first, let it run a slideshow of 4 or 5 of your best pictures, and just have the address for more price and pictures, click, and then click over to your site. That would be a totally fine way. And then you can run an engagement ad for that post that way. I think that that's also a good way to do it because you're going to get the video file. So this is how you create that slideshow. I'll just show you really quickly. You go as if you're going to create a new post. Make sure you're in the Business Manager. It gives you this little note up top. Use Business Manager to manage this page. You will need to do that. The mistake I made earlier was that I wasn't in as that, and it wouldn't let me create a slideshow. So make sure you're in as the page itself. And then the photo, you're going to click Add Photo or Video. And then you just select a handful of the images like this. Oh, I skipped a step, guys. It's really hot where I am. I'm like a nut today in the camper. Let's do photo or video again. Just bear with me. I did manage to mess something up here. There's supposed to be an option where you pick slideshow, and I probably just missed it as I was talking. Now you can create slideshows as you create the ad as well. Here we go. This time it popped up. I just moved too fast. And you'll see the option right here is create slideshow. So that's what I needed to get. And then you can pick the image duration. I've been setting mine for 2 seconds and then with a fade transition just for fun. And then you can click on the add photos, click upload photo, and then upload like this. And Facebook will basically make a nice little slideshow, and you can also add music, which is kind of cool. You know, I didn't even think if you wanted to, you can upload a track of you talking about the listing as well if you want. But we'll just go pick a random music file, and then Facebook will make you a nice little video. Create slideshow, okay, and then in order to go back and download it, you kind of have to go to the actual video. The quickest way I found to do that, to go download it, was actually, we'll leave this page. Whew, I am fumbling around today, sorry. Right here, you see these little 3 dots? And there's an option, you can download the video right here. Yes, Donna, good question. I'm doing this as a post directly on the business page in order to create the slideshow video. You can actually do it as you create the ad, and you should be able to find it under the videos for your page. So if you go to your main page and then you click on the little videos link, it'll probably show up there if you do it directly as you create the ad too. So, you know, with Facebook's ads dashboard, there's 50 different workflows you can do to accomplish almost the same thing. So if I go to videos here, this is what I'm talking about. You know, I find the video here as well. So it's downloaded. Now to run this ad is very similar to what I just showed you. I don't think I need to show you. Just go and create an engagement ad, and then you pick the post from the page right here. So you see where it says use existing post. I can toggle this so it picks the one with the slideshow. The boosting, good question about boosting. I'll say boosting is better than not doing anything. Facebook gives you that option to boost. A lot of times when you boost, there's certain things you can't do with targeting. You might not be able to set a start and end date. I'm forgetting, and I just know from experience that I always default back to going into the actual ads dashboard because it just gives me lots more options with placements and where it goes. The boost is sort of Facebook's, just like Google does. Boost is kind of like they set you with all the default stuff that will make them the most money at the end of the day. Instead of giving you all the options that will help you do a smarter campaign. But yeah, if you want to just click boost, that's at least a quick way to get this done and a simple way to at least start getting exposure for the property. Yep, Helen came late. The recordings are on the Facebook page, facebook.com/conversion. If you click on videos, and they're also in the document that we shared earlier. I'll share it again here in a minute. Ryan's asking, yes, there is a video in the groups about how to zap to slide broadcast. I can kind of show you guys that later, maybe. Laura's asking, when you boost a post, who does it boost to? It boosts to whoever you pick for the targeting. So you pick the zip code or the city or certain age demographics. That's who's going to see it. You get to control who sees it, which is cool. You're not wasting money on people who probably won't be able to buy the property if you do it right. And the other thing you get from doing this too, it doesn't really hurt to. You don't really have to obsess about the traffic, because what you'll find is that by just running the ad to everybody in a zip code, you'll get a lot of people sharing and saying, hey, Joe, come move next to me. People like to share it with friends who they hope will move near them, or family members, things like that. Or they'll share it with their wife, their spouse, because they'll see the price of the property and say, oh my God, look how much they're getting for the house, things like that. So there's a lot of good residual shrapnel stuff that can come from this. Okay, so that was the second example. Using a slideshow is another way to go. You should probably get, I haven't tested that all, but you'll probably get similar cost per click. And the advantage was I quickly got myself a video to use on YouTube, right? I downloaded it as I showed you. Here it is to go. So now the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna upload this video to YouTube. It's not fancy, but it doesn't need to be. It just needs to make people curious. So I'm gonna go to YouTube. James is asking, where would you go to learn how to use the Facebook Pixel feature? I might touch upon that here at the end when we talk about retargeting, but we did a whole webinar about that on the replays page, facebook.com/conversion/videos. There's a whole retargeting video that will touch a lot upon that use of the Pixel for you. So let me just switch here. So I'm going into YouTube. The first step in running a YouTube ad, so we just did Facebook. We can get tons of traffic from Facebook. Next, we want to be able to tell people who are prospective seller leads, we want to be able to go into that listing presentation and say, hey, I'm going to run one of those cool, annoying skip these ad leads for your listing. And this is how to do it. So I've got the slideshow from Facebook. Again, you're totally welcome to. Best practice, of course, would be to go and take an actual video in person, or use a service like Animoto, whatever you need to do to get a video, and then you upload it to YouTube. So that's what I'm doing now. Where did it go? Bear with me, guys. I gotta find my video. It was just sitting here a second ago. That was it. Okay, 410 Palmdale. Of course, another advantage of uploading your listing videos to YouTube is that there's a chance they'll be found. Organically, you'll get free traffic from YouTube. YouTube's owned by Google. You can get some SEO value. So when I title this, I might say Palm Harbor home for sale. Right. So if somebody's out there searching Palm Harbor, then I'll do Palm Harbor home sale. We might get some free views here and there. And in the description, I'll say go to this link to see, go to for more details, something like that, just in case people find it on YouTube. Publish. And now the reason I did that, I needed to get my YouTube video link. So I've got my YouTube link to copy to my clipboard. And now I'm going to go into AdWords. I'm going to click the plus sign, and then I'm going to do a new campaign, and the option I'm going to choose is video. So we'll choose video. And just to keep things simple, we're going to create a campaign without a goal. Okay. Later on, you can get a little fancier with conversions from AdWords, dropping conversion pixels and things like that. But really, this is more about just getting views and raw clicks to the website. And you'll actually be able to track based on the URL that's being clicked, from the search, from the Squeeze search link. All right. So we're going to name our campaign. I'll just name it The Property. And if you want, you can group all your property videos in one campaign, but to keep things simple here, I'm just going to create a separate campaign for each property. So I'll just call this 410 Palmdale. My daily budget, I'll set that to $5. You can also set the start and end date if you want, right? The same way here. So you can set it to run for a week with a 5-day daily budget. We will run this on all of YouTube's properties now. Be careful here. The video partners on Display Network, you might want to get rid of that. Google will try to sell you lower tier traffic. So, it's probably best to keep these 2 boxes here, but you can test it with video partners on and see if it matters at all. Bidding, all languages, locations. Okay. And then we're going to simply pick the town or the zip code. So I'll type in Palm Harbor here. All right. So everybody in that location will be able to see this video. And then my bidding strategy, maximum cost per view is good. So that's what I want. Standard inventory, you can play with these. Basically, it's which videos you'll show it on. I don't think that this will affect these kind of campaigns much. You have all these granular options with Google. Don't worry too much about them. You can also set the devices, set specific targeting for mobile devices, specific iPhones, Androids, and things like that if you want. But I'm going to keep it simple here. Frequency capping, this is how many times a day you'll let the video be shown to one person. So you might say, hey, I only want this to be shown 3 times per YouTube viewer per day, so I'm not paying for a bunch of impressions for somebody who's not interested at all and doesn't actually watch and view. And you can limit it to maybe 1 complete view a day. Now, there's a difference between impressions and views. A view, I believe, is a view of either the whole video or 25 or 30 seconds. I forget, but Google doesn't actually charge you if somebody doesn't view past the part where it says skip this ad. They actually have to watch the video for a set amount of time. Now, these slideshow videos, the example I just showed you, is going to be a little longer. A little shorter. So, it might be like 15 seconds long. If they watch the whole thing, you'll be charged for a view. All right. So, ad schedule. You can set time periods it runs on, but I'm going to keep it simple here again. My maximum cost per view bid. I think if you set it to 20, you're always going to get a lot of views. So 20 is probably the most you want to set it to, in my experience, and I like to set it to around 10 cents a view and then tweak my budget later if I don't feel like I'm getting enough views. You can also bid higher for videos that are more popular. I wouldn't really worry about that unless you're trying to be really aggressive. And then right here, it says demographics. Here's where you can get a little more strategic, right? Maybe you say, hey, this property's $500,000. I probably only want to show it to this age range. And maybe I only want to show it to parents, right? So you could select only parents. And then here under household income, the temptation is going to be to only pick the higher incomes, for this particular property. Just know the more choices you pick here, the less views you'll get. You can really be slow getting traffic, say if I only do the top 10%, for example. So I usually do the first two or 3 boxes, 2 to 4 boxes here at least. And then if I'm not getting enough traffic, I'll go back into household income and try to add more options. It seems that, restricting these variables really affect your campaign. Audiences, know that if you want to, you can retarget your site traffic. So if you are using Google AdWords as a power user, you could always run video campaigns that show to everybody who's been searching on your site. We have a video at facebook.com/conversion/videos where we have all of these webinars, and we have a specific video about retargeting, and we have one about AdWords. And I think one of those or both of those will show you how to retarget with Google AdWords, but I'm not going to dive into that here. Just know that you can choose those interests, those retargeting audiences, and you can also create affinity audiences based on people who are doing specific things. So here I have an affinity audience. Maybe I'll do people who are looking at banking and finance sites, for example, if I wanted to. You can also build custom affinity audiences, and you can type in sites like, let's say, real estate searchers. And this is all optional, guys. I would probably just keep this simple and not do what I'm showing you here, but I just want to give you this info. And you could do something like real estate, for an interest. And you can also do URLs. So you can do one item in. I could do realtor.com, Zillow.com, things like that, so that people who are searching actively on those sites will then see your videos on YouTube. So again, I'll give you this disclosure here. The more stuff you add here to restrict who can see it, the less views you're going to get, and you'll probably get pretty good results by just leaving all this stuff blank, letting it run to everybody using YouTube in a certain age range in your market, and you'll probably be happy with that. Okay, you can also choose specific YouTube channels, videos. You get really granular, but just keep it simple the first time you do this. Next step is to create our video ad. This could not be easier. This is so fun and easy to do. I'm simply going to take the YouTube URL for that video I just downloaded from Facebook and upload it, so I'm good to go. And then I will set it as an in-stream ad. And then my final URL is going to be, well, the link to the property. Now, if you want to go back and create a new squeeze link for the property, you can do that. Or you'll notice, so that you can track that it's from YouTube, you'll notice that I've gone ahead here and right in the URL says and PPC equals. I can actually set that to YouTube instead of Facebook manually in the URL, or you can go use the builder in KV Core conversion and set that as your source. So anytime I get a lead from this, I'll know it came from my video ad. And then your display URL, you can actually shorten that, just looks cleaner, like so. That's what's going to show over here in the right column when people are watching the video, but it'll still take them to the final URL. And then we'll let it generate our thumbnails automatically. And then our ad name is 410 Palmdale. And that is it. You can run a very quick, easy campaign for a video like that. I actually took a little more time here to show you the advanced options, but really you could just focus on picking those demographics, popping your video URL and the page URL in where you want people to go, and you know, get some very nice exposure for your listing. Forgot to add the ad group name. There we go. And again, this is going to, I'm going to say this a number of times today, this sort of thing is going to give you a nice edge in your listing presentation. You now get to go and insert a page in your listing presentation, or when you're in front of a seller and say, hey, you know those annoying skip these ads on YouTube? Well, we're going to put your property right there. And I bet a lot of the competition isn't going to be doing that. So there we go. And we just go ahead and make the campaign live. So that is, let's go back to our doc here. That is creation of a video ad on YouTube. The next thing we could do, again in Google AdWords, is we can run Google Display Ads. Now, Google's Display Network are those ads that are kind of like boxes, and you'll see big text, or you'll see banner ads, and you'll see them on CNN, ESPN.com, all the sites you go to. Google's Display Network is vast, and this is a really cool way to not only enhance your brand, but also get a lot of exposure for your listings, and again, another cool thing to put in your listing presentation. And the process is pretty similar to running a video ad. So I'm going to go ahead here, go back. I'm going to click plus. I have to go back here to all campaigns. Let's see, new campaign again. And this time, I'm going to choose display. It's the second option. I'm going to create my campaign without a goal again. I'm going to move a little faster on this one, guys, if I want. I know that you can actually run ads inside of Gmail. It's very similar to what I'm going to show you now, except that you'll be targeting keywords in people's email. So if people have realtor.com in their email, you can actually show them an ad for one of your listings. Really cool stuff. But let's go ahead and continue here. And what did I do? I accidentally picked Gmail. All right, continue. Campaign name, again, 410 Palmdale. We're going to do the same thing with the location. And then our bid strategy, we're going to stay away from target CPA. We're going to do manual cost per click. If you do any of these other options, Google, they're more advanced. Google's going to try to spend your money. They're not actually more advanced. It's Google trying to get you to automatically spend money. Manual CPC is going to give you the most control. Help increase conversions with enhanced CPC. I like to uncheck that because Google, that's another way of Google saying I'm going to spend money you might not want to spend. And then budget, I'll set it to 10 a day, whatever you want to do. Same options we just went through here. Ad group name, we can choose specific audiences. Right, again, we can retarget with our banner ads. I'm going to go for demographics again. Boop, boop, doop, doop. Right, and then we'll just get rid of the lower incomes for this particular property, and then automated targeting. They try to sneak in. See where it says automated? Anytime Google tries to do something automated, they're trying to get you to let them play around with your money. So I'm setting that to no automated targeting. You might find it works just as well letting them do it, but rule of thumb, try not to do that. Enter your highest cost per click, $1.17. That seems high for me, but we'll go ahead and let it go for now. Maybe I did something that threw that off. It might have been the income. And you'll see over here on the right side, it's telling me my average cost per click should be 28 to 72 cents, which is more in line with display. I'm going to create my ad. We'll just click responsive ad. And then we're going to upload images. So the easiest thing to do here is either upload logos, your company logo if you want, and then pictures of the property to just kind of give the banner, Google's responsive banner ads, something to work with. And you just have to click this little use as image, continue. You see you have the option to use as logo to continue. So maybe your logo and then you have the image. And I'm just doing this very quickly. And it's really cool. It'll build, these will start to look familiar to you in a minute. Over on the right side as it builds the preview, you've seen these ads all over the web. And it'll have a picture of the property. And then you just do 410 Palmdale. Right, for sale. And then it asks for a longer headline for some of it's a short headline and a longer headline. It shows either one based on the size of the banner they're showing on specific sites. All right, and then description, whatever, 4-bedroom, 3-bath gem. And then our final URL is going to be the website on our conversion site. And again, you could change the squeeze link so that the source is now, I'm going to do G display. So I know it came from my Google display ads. And that is it. There's one other thing I want to mention here. So I'm going to create my campaign. One of my business name here. Yeah, it's actually going to want your company name. So it'll pretty much force you to do that. So make sure you put your company name in there so that it shows it in the ad. Okay. Continue campaign. The last thing I want to show you guys with display ads in particular, a lot of times they'll show them on mobile, and this might apply to to YouTube ads as well. And you can actually go in and change the targeting so that it's not targeting mobile so aggressively. What'll happen is I watch my kids watch YouTube or they use my phone to play games, and they'll accidentally click the banner ad. So you get a lot of bad clicks sometimes. Because Google doesn't know that it's really a 7-year-old on your phone, even though you picked a certain age range. So a good rule of thumb that a lot of AdWords pros do is they'll go into down here where it says devices, and they'll adjust the bid. You see right here where it says bid adjustment right here in this column. And I like to just decrease my mobile by 100%. You'll get less impressions, but it won't show on mobile devices the display ads. And that's a good way to make sure you're not getting those junk clicks. It'll be somebody who's on a computer browsing websites actively, not a 7-year-old who sees an ad for your listing. So I think this is a good idea. You just go back into the campaign and you go where it says devices and you adjust the bid down. Okay, a little bit of an advanced tip, but it might save you some money, get you some better results. Okay, so that's it. We just ran Google display banner ads. We ran video ads for the listing. We go into our listing presentation and we look awesome. And also, of course, we have all these impressions with our company advertising listings all over the web. So as the broker owner, as the team leader, this is really good. Good for us because it seems to onlookers, people looking in at our company, like we are doing the marketing that nobody else is doing. We are everywhere. We're the people to list with. So that's the shrapnel advantage here. And of course, you're going to get direct clicks and leads on your listings, and your seller is going to be thrilled to see that you're doing this stuff. You get to go into AdWords, and Facebook and YouTube. You get to go in and say, hey, we've had this property listed for a month. I've gotten you thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of impressions and hundreds and thousands of clicks, and nobody has bought this property yet or made an offer or requested showings, and it's probably the price. You'll be able to justify those price reductions a little better and maybe get more of your property sold. I know that's not a big deal in this market where things are flying off the shelf, but it is something to mention. Okay, so we're doing a lot today. Next thing I want to bring up is that you can actually retarget these clickers with all kinds of messages. So you could take anybody who's viewed a property listing on your site and you can say, hey, thanks for looking at one of my listings. If you want to know the value of your property, go ahead and go to my sell page, sell.php page on your conversion site and check it out. So the way to set that, I'm not going to go deep into retargeting. We have another whole session on the mechanics of that, but I just want to mention and show you how you would create the custom audiences in AdWords and Facebook around that. So I'm going to go here to the property, and you'll notice that anytime there's a URL for a single property, you'll have the MLS ID in the URL, and you also have this little details.php. Now, if you want to target retarget specific people who have looked at a specific property and MLS number, you can create an audience around that. So let me show you. I'm going to go into Facebook ads, I'm going to go to all tools, and then I'm going to go audiences right here. It's taking a second to load. And now I can create an audience. And I can do it based on website traffic. And I can do, instead of all, I'll do people who visit specific web pages. And look, it contains one of these values. Look what I'm doing here. I'm pasting in the MLS number. So I can literally run ads to people who have looked at that MLS number. I can say, hey, you checked out 410 Palmdale. You know, I can do a video. If you have any questions about it or you want to see other listings, let me know. I could also just retarget people who are viewing any property on my site. So I could do details.php. If I put that string in my audience, then I know that I'm hitting people who have looked at a specific property on my site, and I can say, hey, thank you for being on my website recently. Here's how to contact me and do a cell number. Now, the content of that ad, I'm going to reference our retargeting session, but that's really up to you. This is your opportunity to make a personal impression. So, you know, do something like, hey, my name is Ryan Hartman with eXp Realty. You know, thank you for looking at one of my listings. Just want to let you know I'm a real person. I'm probably sending you emails if you opted in at my site. I'm here for you. Whatever you need to do, sell yourself. This is a perfect opportunity to do that. So, and this is the way that you're going to use your listings to sort of generate more business. You know, you're leveraging your listings further. You can generate more listing leads. A good script for that might be, hey, you recently clicked an ad for one of my listings. That's just one of the things we do. It was a Facebook or Google ad. We advertise in so many different channels. And if you're thinking of selling your property, you might want to contact me. You can kind of make a soft pitch about your services as a marketer. So I would just name the audience, you know, viewed 410 Palmdale, and so on. And then when I create my Facebook ad, I choose that audience as the targeting. Again, I'll reference the retargeting video webinar on the replays page. In AdWords, it's very similar. I'll just show you quickly. If you go to Tools up top, and then you go to Audience Manager, you create the audience much the same way, where it's based on the URL. So I click plus, website visitors, URL contains, and the same idea, right? You get the point. So I could retarget anybody visiting my listings with a banner ad if I wanted to, or a YouTube video. So we can get really granular, lots of options here, and you know, it's just up to you what makes sense for your business. I would say that you're going to get most of the results from simply running those Facebook ads we did at the beginning at your listings. I would start there to keep it simple. I'm on the wrong doc here. I would start there to keep it simple up in this section up here. Just get in the habit. Have somebody at your office, if it's not you, like a machine, run those Facebook ads for every listing, and you'll at least start to get some powerful results from this, and then start to layer on the videos, the Google display, and then the retargeting later. But most of the power here, if you're not already doing that, is going to come from Facebook. And that's about it. So thank you for watching today. I have a few extras in here. I have this listing page template I'll open up for you here. I made this a while back. It's just kind of like an example of a page you might pop in your listing presentation that talks about the benefits of the fact that you run Facebook ads for your listings. Justlisted.cards and PropertyBoost.com are services from the Inside Real Estate family of products. So you might want to check those out. Property Boost will run those Facebook ads for you. You don't have to do it. And JustListed.cards will send Just Listed cards automatically for you. That's a really cool, nifty little service. And then I have a link here to a recorded webinar about Craigslist. I didn't mention Craigslist here, but you definitely want to layer in Craigslist and use some of the same concepts here where you know, you're driving traffic directly at a listing from the Craigslist ad. And I have a lot of techniques in that Craigslist webinar. And then finally, I'm not very familiar with CirclePix, but CirclePix is in the Inside Real Estate family, and I was checking out their site today, and I noticed they have this webinar series, and they do a lot of stuff related to advertising your listings. So if you want to click that link, you can register for one of their upcoming webinars and check out CirclePix as well and see what they have to offer too. So that's it, guys. Thank you for being here today on this weekly tactics webinar for Inside Real Estate. I'll be sure to post the recording to facebook.com/conversion conversion.com/videos. So if you go to the conversion fan page and you click videos, you'll be able to see all of these recordings right up in the top playlist right here in Ryan Hartman's tips and tricks webinars. And this one will be posted here shortly. Be sure to share, feel free to share these webinars with your friends and coworkers because they very well help your bottom line. And if you are a solo agent watching this and you want to get your broker or team leader advertising all your listings for you, definitely show them this webinar and tell them that they should probably just have somebody at the company do this like mechanically as a machine because it'll help everybody at the company. All right, have a great one. We'll be back next Tuesday at 3 p.m. for the next tips and trick webinar.